from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
There was a need here before COVID, and that need has been exacerbated by COVID.
Now at 6, more fallout from the pandemic. Food insecurity has gotten worse. More families don't know where their next meal is coming from. The effort to help and what you can do.
Don't be afraid. If you need some help or want some support, we are here with open arms.
Sadly, gun violence is at a record pace in Indianapolis. What's available for the victims' families and the group that's trying to reverse this deadly problem? The presidential election is fast approaching. If you want a good prediction on who is going to win, you may only have to look at one Indiana county. Their unique history with the presidential election that you need to see to believe.
And today is just step one in our big cool down. When temperatures dip into the 30s and some patchy frost is likely.
Good evening and welcome into WRTV News at 6. I'm Mark Mullins. Making ends meet can be tougher than ever due to the pandemic. Many people are already living in food deserts, and the ability to put food on the table has become more difficult with COVID-19. Our Megan Sanctorum shows us an effort to make sure families on the east side, one of the hardest hit areas, by the way, have access to food.
Community leaders say the need in this neighborhood continues to grow. Today, they're hoping to feed at least 160 families.
How many families?
One by one, they lined up. Boxes and bags all filled with food. And now going home with families in need.
I don't come to stuff like this unless I know that I need to.
Families like Jessica Ford's.
It's been rough because my fiance was working and he got laid off for a little bit.
This mother of two says she recently lost her benefits as well, and she worries every day about being able to put food on the table for her young boys.
Even with this going on, I still worry about that.
She says she canceled her cell phone service and is delaying car repairs. She's not alone. Lachey Smith says she came to get food for her mom. They're having issues with unemployment benefits.
She works for the school bus, so when she's not at work, she normally gets unemployment, but since the pandemic started, she hasn't been able to receive her money on time.
Smith is relying on services like this until she's able to find a new job herself, too.
I've been applying to a lot more jobs. Hopefully I get more interviews to where I can start working.
The John Bonner Neighborhood Center here on the east side provides food for those in need each week. But this week's distribution was a little different. They had 20,000 pounds to distribute, all thanks to donations from Big Green Indy and Conscious Alliance. Both organizations are supported by the Herbert Simon Family Foundation.
We hope that this helps folks to have some period of time where they have to spend less energy worrying about food.
Helping families like Jessica Ford's fill their pantry.
This helps out a lot. If they didn't do this, I don't know what all the families would do.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
If you need food assistance, you can always call 211 across the state of Indiana. If you live in Marion County, the Community Compass app is also an option. The app finds local food pantries, hot meal sites, and farmers markets where you can get food. Gun violence is still a huge problem here in central Indiana. Over the weekend alone, at least 12 people were shot between Friday and Sunday night here in Indianapolis. The relatives of the victims find themselves not only searching for help to solve the crimes, but also needing help to cope with the pain. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares what is available for families and how one group hopes to change the course of gun violence in Indianapolis.
And during times like this, with the violence that's going on, I absolutely encourage seeking help.
Angel Hall knows the pain of losing a child to gun violence all too well. Her son was killed in 2016.
When these shootings occur, you are hurting a family. You're not just hurting that one person. You are impacting a whole family. When you kill that one person, you just killed the whole family.
Last year, the city saw 172 homicides. Last night, IMPD officers responded to this year's 171st. Indianapolis continues to outpace the number of homicides the city saw in 2018, which remains the most in the city's history. And it's not even October. What's helped Hall is surrounding herself with women like her, she says, joining the group Purpose for My Pain that does just that, giving her something to do with that pain.
We just try to offer the best comfort and support that we can. We do community events.
Reaching out and supporting other moms who have been impacted by gun violence, even through rent, utilities, and food assistance. Plus, the community at large, holding community walks, back to school giveaways.
The teenagers years are really critical in young people's life. And I think just by them not being involved in anything in the schools and the fundings is not available, that does plays a big part on how they divert to the streets.
Trying to give young people hope, something to do, and something to believe in.
They charge so much that parents can't afford. Like, you can't afford to send them to a basketball camp or a football camp because they're charging.
Trying to give back to the community, especially those who are hurting just like them.
But you can't give up. You can't give up. You can't give up.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
You can get involved with Purpose for My Pain on Facebook or by calling the number there on your screen. It's 317-983-1418. And if you have any information about any of the shootings over the weekend, IMPD is asking you to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. It's not just the number of homicides that's concerning. IMPD says as of September 4th, 434 people have been victims of non-fatal shootings in Indianapolis in 2020, meaning they were shot and survived. As of September 4th in 2019, there were 350 non-fatal shooting victims. So this year's pace is much faster than last year's. Right now, Indiana State Police need your help to find 4 shootings that happened in the Indianapolis area interstates over the past 3 days. They're looking for the suspects. State police say 1 person was shot and at least 4 vehicles were damaged in the shootings. Investigators tell us it does not appear any of the shootings are related, but it is likely 3 of the 4 shootings began as road rage incidents. Now, the first shooting happened around 3:30 Friday afternoon on I-465 near Harding Street. No one was injured in this incident. The second shooting happened hours later at 10:15 Friday night when someone fired at 2 17-year-olds on I-465 near Emerson Avenue. Neither teen suffered any gunshot wounds. Then around 4:30 Saturday afternoon, someone shot at a semi-truck on I-74 westbound west of I-465. The driver was not hurt. A 4th shooting happened at 2:30 this morning. Someone fired shots at and hit an 18-year-old man on I-465 northbound near I-65 on the west side. A bystander took that man to the hospital. If you have any information about any of these incidents, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. Again, investigators say 3 of the 4 shootings were likely cases of road rage. State police say you should never engage in road rage for this very reason. Democracy 2020 and the race for the White House. Call it an indicator. Call it a predictor. For about 107,000 people in western Indiana, they call it home. For more than a century, Vigo County voters have had a knack for picking the presidential victor. On the western edge of Indiana, I-70 is the high-speed road stretching through Vigo County, the place that seems to also know the road to the White House.
For over 100 years, though, there's a good streak of a correlation between how the county votes and how the nation votes.
Dr. Matthew Bergbauer is a political science professor at Indiana State University in Terre, Haute in Vigo County and an author.
When Trump's elected in 2016, Vigo County voted for Trump. And when Barack Obama won in 2008, Vigo County went for Barack Obama.
Since the 1890s, Vigo County proves it's got a winning streak, swaying between red and blue in presidential elections and typically selecting the victor.
People do like to voice their opinions here on what they want.
Daniel Mahan hears the ballot box chatter while he's on the job at this downtown Terre Haute barbershop.
There's more people that I feel like has been talking about leaning toward the Democratic side than the Republican side. Me personally, I'm not neither. Whoever I feel would benefit me the best is who I would vote for.
Any predictions on which way it's going to sway?
Oh, it's going to go Republican.
Vigo County native Dale Garlock is retired, spending time working on house projects. He knew all about Vigo County's bellwether status and shared the issues he's paying close attention to in this election.
Right now, I think there's a lot of talk about health care and also about a financial situation.
The trend here of selecting the winning president more than a century strong is an anomaly since Vigo County's demographics don't completely mirror the nation. Dr. Bergbauer points out, and the Census Department confirms, Vigo County is more white than average when it comes to racial makeup. The income level here is below average, and though the county is home to ISU and a couple of other colleges, the average resident does not have a college-level education, according to Dr. Bergbauer. But the professor highlighted a parallel running between this small Hoosier County and the nation.
But there is a thing called party ID. And we know that the nation's been pretty evenly split on party ID for quite a while now. We can pick, a really red county and a really blue county in Indiana. We have Vigo County that's a really evenly split county when it comes to party ID.
A county made up of both Republican-leaning rural farmers and Democratic-leaning college students in Terre Haute's urban core. We are in a time of polarizing politics, especially on the national scale, but people here in this county say that here there's at least a willingness to listen to opposing views.
I think they like to listen and weigh their options, and everybody pretty much knows what they want to do anyway, but I think they still are open to, what one candidate is offering over another.
It seems like people are more voiced in their opinions these days than maybe in the past, and I think that causes some controversy, but I mean, it's also kind of good to be able to hear both sides of the political spectrum too.
People like to look at the national economic conditions and then their own pocketbooks and say, hey, should I reward the incumbent party or should I penalize the incumbent party with this next election?
Here, often people weigh the issues and how those issues weigh on their bank accounts and livelihoods and vote accordingly, not necessarily in accordance with their party ID.
I graduated college spring of last year, this last semester, and of course I got school loans, so that's a big thing on who would benefit me better on assisting like with school loans and stuff, forgiveness, stuff like that.
And it's kind of just indicative of how powerful everyone's vote is. It's not really like a state-by-state thing, but it's really like a person-by-person phenomenon.
So, in a county with no qualms of switching from red to blue to red again, Dr. Bergbauer has a prediction for this predictor.
So will you find, Trump country here? Yes, you will. And I expect Trump to win Vigo County.
The two elections in which Vigo County voters did not peg the winner include the 1908 and 1952 elections. Right here on WRTV, you can watch the first presidential debate live tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 8 with the debate between President Trump and Joe Biden starting at 9. That's tomorrow night live here on WRTV. If you aren't registered to vote, do it now. The deadline to register is a week from today, Monday, October 5th. You absolutely need to do that to be able to vote. And then early voting begins the very next day, Tuesday, October 6th, and lasts through November 2nd. Election Day is November 3rd. If you need to take part in absentee voting by mail, you should file an application for a ballot immediately. The deadline to turn in your ballot application is October 22nd. Then when you get your absentee ballot, you must have it filled out and turned in to county election officials by noon on Election Day, which is again November 3rd. But remember, here in Indiana, not everyone can vote by mail. The state has a list of 11 reasons you can vote by mail, and if none of those reasons apply to you, you have to vote in person. However, it's important to note, if you are 65 years old or older, you can vote by mail. We have a guide to the November general election up for you right now on our website, WRTV.com. That includes all the dates you need to know in order to make sure your vote counts. Again, that's all at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. We have some breaking news just into the WRTV newsroom. The Commerce Secretary has just announced that the 2020 U.S. Census will end October 5th, despite a judge ordering it to continue to the end of October. This is according to a report from the Associated Press. Again, the Commerce Secretary says the census will end October 5th instead of at the end of October. If you haven't filled out your census information, you may want to do it now. The very latest on this is coming up on World News Tonight with David Muir at 6:30. Starting today, Marion County has eased COVID-19 restrictions. A reminder now of what's changed and what stays the same. Restaurants and bars can now operate at 50% capacity indoors and up to 100% outdoors. Social distancing is still required. Museums, cultural, entertainment venues, and gyms can open at 50% capacity. Live entertainment can resume at bars, clubs, and performance venues with social distancing and a 10-foot buffer between stages and the audience. Churches and funeral homes can continue conduct indoor services at 75% capacity and outdoor services at no capacity limit. And masks are still required. Again, this is all for Marion County.
Showers this morning. We've got some sunshine this evening. This is over Putnam County. We're drying out. We'll talk about cooling down even more coming up.
The Colts made it back-to-back wins on Sunday. Can they keep it going with their next 2 games on the road? Coming up, a look back and a look ahead. Welcome back. The Rebound Indiana is our initiative to connect you to resources to help you make it through the pandemic. And this evening, we're learning how much revenue some businesses in college towns are losing and their outlook on the uncertain future. Students and staff members at Indiana University in Bloomington and Ball State University in Muncie switched to virtual learning at the beginning of the pandemic. That left businesses near these campuses without some of their frequent customers. And in Bloomington, a survey from the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce found the revenue cuts some businesses are dealing with means they may have to close their doors.
Depending on the industry, the drop in revenue ranged anywhere from the high 80s, 80% cuts in revenue for food and beverage and hospitality. So that all the tourism sort of things, that absence of people really does matter. All the way to the low teens where they had made a 10%. 15% drop in revenue. And again, everybody anticipated that it would continue in the same way because the pandemic itself is continuing and they don't see that that's going to improve.
The Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce is working to help connect businesses, nonprofits, and the community to resources and volunteer opportunities. We are also looking to see how Ball State is hoping to keep students connected to the Muncie community. Check it all out right now at WRTV.com and in the WRTV app. And you can find out how you can help keep local businesses afloat.
I think today was all about proving that it still can rain. It's probably been a while since you had your windshield wipers on. We had the morning showers into early afternoon, not a widespread soaking rain that we needed. We need 3 to 5 inches of rain really to kind of break the abnormally dry or drought conditions. Off to the east, there's the rain that was here this morning. It's now in the Buckeye State, headed toward Pennsylvania. For us, we'll see a transition to drier conditions. Okay, rainfall in Terre, Haute, almost a 1/4 of an inch. Lafayette at 1600s today, but almost a 1/2 inch yesterday. If you look at Indianapolis, our 800s today, you combine that with the 400s we had, and there's our monthly total, 12/100ths of an inch. What that did is knock us out of the top 3 for driest months ever. March of 1910 still stands as the driest month, and you remember June of 2012, I'm sure. We just had under 1/10 of an inch, but we also hit 105 on a couple of occasions as we had that extreme heat with the dry conditions. Well, there's the setting sun, or soon to be setting sun, looking to the west as some breaks in the cloud cover. Temperatures in eastern Indiana cooler by at least 12 degrees than the western portion of the state. The story of the week will be well below average temperatures. We build a little false confidence Wednesday. As highs push 70, it will be windy. Then we cool down and we start the slide, which won't be completed until Sunday morning. We'll likely have patchy frost. That's the Indianapolis low temperature at 38. I think outlying areas will be cooler than that. 7-day forecast, limited rain opportunities. I'd put our chance for a shower at 20% Thursday, especially in the northern portion of the state. The 2 coolest days are Friday and Saturday. Saturday morning, 38 degrees. Then temperatures moderate just a bit, as you can see. Sunday showers. That'll be our next best opportunity for some rain for the weekend. Sunday, and then by Monday, 64 and partly sunny. Mark?
All right, Kevin, thanks for that. The Colts had a little trouble taking care of the Jets on Sunday. A couple of players picked up some individual accolades in the game. Brad Brown has a look, plus a big change in plans for next Sunday's matchup.
Milestones can come in many forms over the course of a sports career. Phillip Rivers threw just a single touchdown pass on Sunday, and if you weren't paying a lot of attention, you would have never known it was a pretty big deal.
Shoot, it means a lot. I had no clue that was even a milestone until I just heard you guys in the background talking about it, but it feels great.
Rivers' toss to Mo Alley-Cox was the 400th touchdown of his NFL tenure. He's just the 6th in league history to do that. The other 5 are among the best ever.
There's always been a guy on the receiving end of all those passes, and there's always been 5 guys or more with backs and tight ends blocking like crazy to allow you to throw them. So all the guys have been a part of those, and I know those other quarterbacks that have thrown for a bunch of yards and touchdowns would say the same.
Rivers also eclipsed 60,000 yards, a number only reached by that same set of 5 QB legends.
The milestones are meaningful. I could sit here and tell you they don't matter and I don't care about them. They are meaningful. I've dreamed of playing quarterback in this league since I was a little kid, and some of those guys, there's still some guys that are far, far and away on that list.
Cornerback TJ Carey is in his 7th NFL season, first with the Colts. His pick 6 on Sunday was the first time in his career that Carey took one to the end zone.
Throughout my career, I've had my opportunities to play out there, but I didn't feel as comfortable. And so this offseason was really big for me to work in the outside, and it's been paying off. It's really been paying off in the sense of the coaches always putting us in the best position.
The Colts defense will get an interesting challenge in Week 4 on the road to face the Bears. Chicago coming off a huge comeback win on Sunday. Nick Foles replaced Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, and on Monday, Foles was named Chicago's new starter. The Bears are 3-0, but the Colts are an early 2-point favorite on the road. And how about some baseball this week? We've got the wild card playoffs coming up on WRTV. The postseason expands to 16 teams. Best of 3 series in this opening round. Astros and the Twins tomorrow at 2. The Cubs and Marlins on Wednesday afternoon. That's game 1 at Wrigley Field. A little dose of October this final week of September. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
The rain early today marks our transition to cooler temperatures. Tomorrow, cool and dry, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Temperatures a little below average at 63, but not as cool as they will be late in the week. Mark?
Thanks, Kevin. Straight ahead here, World News Tonight with David Muir, and then I'll join you back here for the news at 7.